given this deficit. So, but now we see that the mineral harvesting is going up a little higher, but it's mostly due to these mules that have been dropped. But he is catching up, and the worker count is he's not as far behind as before. So he is catching up a bit. I think he needs to get himself a third expansion before he falls behind. And as we see with Splatto, he's picking up his fourth expansion. And I think this is a very wise decision for a Zerg player, getting able to macro up huge armies. And I wonder how many minerals he's not. See, his macro is great. He's sitting on a large amount of Vespene, but his minerals is still staying relatively low. Although, as I say that, now it's pumping up. Oh, but there he goes. He's spending them again. And meanwhile, DeLoAdEr also, while he may not have the amount of bases he needs, he is doing quite well on his macro and spending all of his resources. And here he goes. He's going to go out for this high yield, and I think it's a very, very wise decision for him. And but it looks like that's going to get scouted, and so seeing the army move away from there, he's got to know he was killing the rocks, and that he can probably expect an expansion to go there soon. So right now it's going to come down to positioning. These tanks need to get sieged up so that they can pummel this army. And there's the stim, and look at the banelings coming in, just melting half of that army, but good control of those Marines, keeping those Marines in the back. The Marines are what the Zerg player wants to hit. They will one-shot those Marines. They'll destroy them, and it's very important to kill those Marines faster than anything else. As a Zerg player, but smartly, DeLoAdEr pulled those Marines back and was able to get out of the line of fire when those came in, and able to keep these Marines. And I think that Splatto could be in trouble for this base, but I think just due to the massive income that he has, he should be able to macro this up and get a big army going in no time. And here he goes, coming in behind. They're going to be able to snipe this siege tank real quick, and then pull away, and then bring in some Zerglings to start cleaning up. And I think he needs to morph some more Banelings, and there we go. He's morphing some more Banelings on, just as I say that. And this is a very smart placement. By morphing these on the ramp, he's able to actually help block the ramp as well. And bringing those drones to help, while he doesn't want these cocoons to get destroyed while they're morphing. And that's going to be it for that attack. But, and still on top, Splatto, with 60 harvesters over 44, and keeping his income up. But DeLoAdEr now getting the gold, and so I think both players are in a pretty good position right now. We see a bunch of drones just disappeared there. I'm not sure exactly what happened, unless I'm reading incorrectly. I thought they were up at around 60. Maybe I missed a drop where some drones were sniped or something like that. I apologize if I did. So, but I think both players are in a pretty good position right now. While Splatto's income is a bit higher, if DeLoAdEr is able, either by pushing, by drops, and this looks like where the drop may have come from. If he's able to hold out until this completes, and until he's able to saturate these high yield minerals, then he'll be in a very good position. And I think right now is the time. And here we go. This is where the harassment was. This is where the harvesters were being lost. There were some drop ships coming around, dropping in the back of Splatto's bases, and sniping some drones. So that's definitely where that drop came. So let's see what's in the production here. We see an armory going down. So it looks like very smart. DeLoAdEr is going to be picking up some Thors in order to deal with these Mutalisks. So Mutabaneling, very, very strong. Mutabaneling and some Lings, very strong against Terran. In general. And so, but the Thor is, unless you use that magic box technique where you kind of spread your Mutalisks out, so that when you move them in, they basically make a box around your target, and you do that, and you send them in over Thor, and then the Thor will only be able to shoot at one of them at a time, which is what good Zerg players will do with their Mutalisks, so that they don't all get hit at once, because that's what makes the Thor so effective against them. In fact, the Thor is extremely weak against Mutalisks if they are microed properly. So, and on the high level of gameplay, we expect to see that kind of play. So DeLoAdEr moving, he saw the army kind of moving out. He's got to expect something's coming from some direction somewhere. He's throwing down some missile turrets all over the place to help defend, and this is very smart placement, but this is just too many Mutalisks. And they're going to take that out, no problem. And they're going to start wiping up some SCVs, and I just want to check as watch the SCV count during this harass. I'm not sure how many were killed there, but I'm sure quite a few. So look like yeah, these Mutalisks all have quite a decent number of kills. So siege tank placement, once again, very nice here. Missile turret going down, right in the middle. So sometimes in these games, if you have a dropship here, if you're holding this placement here, sometimes it's worth getting some stuff up here. As you can either build a missile turret, a sensor tower even up here, and since you got the dropship SCV already there, I think you could do that. But that's just one of my personal preferences. And so these are still coming in harassing, more kills, and we're looking at getting some more kills on the workers there. But these Marines able to hold it out effectively. And here comes the ball of, oh, just melt. Look at those. Good control with those. Looking for the Marines, and this time he connects with those Banelings on the Marines. And that's really what, as I mentioned before, that is what the Zerg player is looking for. And now with that ball of Marines gone, all he has left is the Thor for anti-air. He needs to spread these out. And there he goes. He looks like he's spread them out effectively. No, he's grouping them back up. He needs to keep them spread. And there he goes, but taking the Thor down and cleaning up the Marines, but more Marines coming out and DeLoAdEr stimming them to get him in there and help defend this siege tank before it goes down. But it looks like Splatto saying, you know what, I'm just going to go back and take that out. I don't care if I take some extra damage. So, but as I mentioned, with a four base Zerg is really able to they can re-macro their army up in no time. They can throw so much at you and just macro back up. But we're looking at a 3-base Terran, and one of them is the high yield minerals, and all these mules. And we look at what those mules are doing for DeLoAdEr right now. And I mean, that is going to be insane macro right there. And we're looking at he's got relatively high on the minerals and Vespene, but still keeping it under 1,000, which, well, not anymore for the Vespene, but he's keeping his minerals under 1,000, which I'd say is relatively good for this late portion of the game, where people end up banking a lot of minerals. So let's check the production tab again, and we just see more units coming out. Nobody has gotten to, doesn't look like anybody's reached max supply yet. So there's no reason to not try and spend those minerals and make your full army. So DeLoAdEr's still a bit behind. He's only got 134 compared to the Zerg, who's at 184 right now. But we do see Terran vehicle weapons going down. We got some upgrades. Looks like armor. One armor just finished. Two armor just finished, and he's got 2 armor and 2 weapons upgrade for his infantry. And he's he's now upgrading his vehicle weapons for his Thors and his tanks. And here comes the Baneling Zergling, and they're going to try to get those Marines again. And they're moving through, but they're, oh yes, they did connect, killing half of those Marines. Not as many of those Banelings made it through as they wanted to. But he did kill half of those, but I don't know if it was worth it at this point. I don't know if that was worth it for Splatto. I think Splatto may have lost more minerals than he killed there. And in the resource war, in fact, we might want to check the units lost tab. And yes, we can see clearly that as far as units lost, Splatto has lost significantly more units and significantly more resources worth. And their incomes are both pretty steady. Granted that Splatto did have a higher income for a good portion of the game, so he was able to throw more units. And now they are almost equal in harvesters. DeLoAdEr passing in harvesters for the first time in this game, I believe. And he has almost completely mined out the gold expansion here, and he has his 4th base up and running here, and he's throwing down yet another expansion here. He's mined out in his main, he's almost mined out in his natural. And so he's going to be mining on 1 base soon, so very smartly getting this last base. The Zerg player, I think he looks like he's going to be maybe possibly dropping on the island. No, it doesn't look like it. He's just kind of moving his guys around. That's right, he didn't get the high yield earlier, so he's now getting the high yield. And he's still mining from 1, 2, almost out on this base, and I'm sure he's mined out in the main. Meanwhile, we look like we're going to have some kind of big fight here. And we'll see what happens. It looks like Splatto pulling back, not willing to engage this force. And looks like DeLoAdEr's going to take the opportunity to just go ahead and snipe the high yield, which I think is probably the smartest thing he can do right now. Sniping this high yield will be huge. It's definitely not a good position for Splatto to be in. And I believe that his mineral count will drop, and he's losing all these drones, which is not a big deal. He still has 50 drones left. But I mean, he did lose about 30 some odd runs, or 20, 22, 20, 23, 24, something like that. And he's about to get his next base sniped. And I don't think there's anything he can do to this. He needs to bring in his army and protect this base. He cannot let this happen. But it looks like he's just going to sit here in his main and guard his main and allow this base to be destroyed. And if he allows this last base to destroy, he will have no mining bases left. He'll have 3 mineral patches, and he really needs to do something about this. So I think I'm not sure what Splatto's saying there. He's saying gutes timing, which he's German, so he's saying good timing. And I guess they must be good friends, and so it's probably his way of already saying GG, because at this point this game is pretty much over at this point. And so I wonder if we'll see. Oh, but the Broodlord's coming out. And look at this. He's going to be able to clean up this whole army. Wow, that was... I did not even see those Broodlords morphing. Amazing. And DeLoAdEr with the shocked face and the smiley. And Splatto does have enough resources to throw down some expansions real quick. And he could do that right now. Although, no, he has just spent the last of his resources. He's under 300 now. Now he can't. So he's going for an all-out. I think he realizes at this point that that it's all or nothing. He needs to go in and give everything he's got. And if it fails, it fails. And so, but at this point, as I mentioned, DeLoAdEr still he's got the base advantage. And despite these Broodlords being very well positioned, they're going to go down eventually, even if not to these Marines, to the next batch of Marines. And I think this is pretty much GG. So, but you do see 2 hatcheries have gone down for Splatto, but there is finally the GG, and that was a great game from both Splatto and DeLoAdEr. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys next weekend for another replay.